Poof, what's up, Lord Chatroom? You know, I was so close. Hold on, let me change it. That was Bury My Shell at Wounded Knee from Turtles. I was like this close, on the cusp of canceling, right? Because these two low-tier schmohawks downstairs, one of them has something called, what he calls a job. I never heard of it, right? He's got a job, Ricksta. He's got to work. Never heard of this shit before in my life. And Rip, it's his 42nd birthday tomorrow, and he's in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is part of the Wizard World Tour, you know? So I figured, well, this is a great opportunity to not have a show, but fuck it, whatever, you know, maybe it'll be a short one, but there's a couple things to talk about, right? Because I went to Seattle, Washington over the last weekend. I got to hang out with a bunch of people that, you know, have been in the news and shit lately, right? You know, I got to talk to some people like Julio, he just got sponsored, and all those other guys like Brent and Tartarian, and just the whole scene, you know, it was pretty cool talking to everybody. But anyway, okay, so one thing at a time. How do we usually do the show? It's a lot easier with other people because you just think about, like, I don't know why, it just seems easier. But anyway, listen. Oh, Red Bull Kumite too. I wanted to stay up and watch that, but I thought that's impossible, and I ended up watching it. So I watched a lot of it, but honestly, that's ancient history. Forget that. Northwest Majors, though, was really cool. There's something I want to bring up, first of all. So the only reason I ever gave a shit about Northwest Majors, really, is because the scene over there, the Tekken scene, was like, you know what? We're going to fly Aris out to Northwest Majors, and we're going to let him check out this tournament. And they did that. And they got me a room. I shared a room with a couple other strangers from Seattle, and I really enjoyed the tournament. The next year, I went back on my own dime. I bought my plane ticket. I shared a room with Ricksta and Rip, and it was like, boom, Northwest Majors is a tournament that I really enjoy going to, and I'm going to go back. This year, I happened to end up going back to Northwest Majors, but this time, Lord Namco and the Namcops hired me as a commentator to go there, right? But the moral of the story in the end is that Northwest Majors banded together and they got my attention, right? And I think I probably never would have even given a shit. I never heard of that shit before they flew me there, right? It took a little bit of a nudge. So I'll get back to this later, right? But I made this observation. Now it's a must tournament. You know, I have to go to Northwest Majors every year. And it's just interesting, right? Okay, so whatever. Pause that topic. We'll revisit that idea later. So Northwest Majors was super good. I mean, you know, it's supposed to be... That town has... I hear. I don't know if this is true, but I hear that Seattle has a really high suicide rate. You know? And I hear that that's because of the weather. It's kind of gloomy, whatever, right? I don't know if that's true, but I swear every time I go to Seattle... Now, I don't want to jinx it, but it is gorgeous George outside. I take the sun with me everywhere I go, I guess, because it was like 86 degrees outside. It was so nice. It was so nice. And that's just the weather. Everything in terms of travel was splendid. You know, everything was cool. So I have no, problems at all. The food and everything was great. All the people that were there were super cool. Strangers were cool. I brought hand sanitizer this time. I got new hand sanitizer strats that are so good you won't even believe it, you know? You keep the sanitizer with you. You shake their hand and you shake the shit out of their hand. Grab that hand and fucking squeeze it until it's tearing the arm out of its socket. And then offer them some hand sanitizer. Hey, you need some? There's a lot of people around here, you know. You might as well take some. Give them some sanitizer. Give yourself some sanitizer. Boom. I hung out with a lot of friends. That was awesome too. You remember AJ Potato Head, that guy? The guy that used to work with Alex Valet with Level Up? That guy? He went to big dinner with me and Markman and Nate Monster and Rip and everybody else, Tasty Steve. We had a big good. You know, you gotta anyway, okay, so that's good shit. I met a lot of people. That was awesome. I hung out with a lot of friends. That was awesome too. You remember AJ Potato Head, that guy? The guy that used to work with Alex Valet with Level Up? That guy? He went to big dinner with me and Markman and Nate Monster and Rip and everybody else, Tasty Steve. We had a big dinner. There was all these people and it was so cool just kicking it with everybody, you know? So that part was great. Tournament, when it comes to the tournament, give me a second. Let me do a big water. Hold on. I'm alone. Usually when those other two morons are saying stuff, it gives me an opportunity to lube up. So just give me a sec, all right? Okay, so, as I was saying, the tournament was smooth, right? I didn't hear of any issues. Everybody there was in a really, really good, pleasant mood because all of the tournaments seemed to be going great. I heard maybe one of them was like an hour late or something, but that's not bad, right? I mean, it was just really cool. Everyone was happy to be there. The venue wasn't super stinky, though it got a little bit moist on the last day, on Sunday, and I think that's probably because they didn't turn on the AC on Sunday. That might be some automated bullshit because it's a college. But the tournament was good. The tournament was good. Very few complaints. When I think about it, I mean, the very last, I think grand finals we didn't see because we had to leave before me, Markman, and everybody, we left before the end so we could get to the restaurant before it closed. But from what I saw, everything seemed good, except the one complaint I had is what I think everyone else's complaint was, which is, who the fuck were those two guys doing commentary? There was like 1 million people in the crowd that were way more qualified to be doing that than those two guys. It was weird. Everyone in the crowd was kind of murmuring it, like, hey, what the hell? I mean, I swear, there were, Tasty Steve was there, Sajam was there, Rip was there. I mean, there were so many people that are more qualified, and that's a prestigious event, you know? So, I thought it was odd. Peculiar. Now, this isn't like, okay, you could approach it from the angle of it's giving these newbie commentators an opportunity. I'm all for that. But I think that if you could do that for pools, right? I mean, you could do that for pools. And that would be just as good, I think. And you wouldn't really have any issues with that. But I don't know. I don't know how big of a deal it really is. It wasn't a big deal at all. In the end, for example, Tasty Steve, myself, Rip, and the other Steve, and Markman, we all left anyway to go to the restaurant. So none of us were there till the end anyway, right? But still, you know, lots of people were kind of like asking. So it was like, I don't know, don't ask me. That's what I always say. I don't know. Don't ask me. It was a big deal. I don't know how big of a deal it really was. I didn't watch the stream. And you know what? You tell me. So when I did commentary for Tekken 7 in the morning, you could hear my voice. If you were there, everyone could hear me, right? But when we were watching Top 8 for Street Fighter 5, I couldn't hear their voices. What was up with that? Why did they turn that off? What the hell? I don't know if there was ever an explanation. I mean, in the end, right? Man, my voice is getting all fucked up. Excuse me. In the end, when you think about an event, there's a reason why these different events fly out Ultra David and James Chen and Yipes, you know, or Spooky, or Mike Ross or Gutex, you know. The reason they fly these guys out is so that, you know, obviously people think that this event isn't Garbo. There's a reason to be there. Oh shit, Gutex is there? Are you serious? That's something I'll watch. Or whatever. I mean, duh, obviously, right? You don't have to be a fucking scientist to figure that out, right? So, the way I see it from my perspective, it's like, at least one of those guys should have been someone dope, right? At least one of them. Both of those guys, I didn't know who they were. And they could be both great. And perhaps in a few years, they'll be commentating at ESL and they'll be super fat, right? But right now, I think having two of them without either of them being... I mean, this is a Capcom Pro Tour ranking event. So, I don't know. Whatever. Could have been better. It could have been done better. You know, so people would look at this event and say, alright, this event is tight. Anyway, whatever. That's not a big deal. Overall, the tournament, considering, if you really consider that is my only complaint about this tournament, and you think back less than 40 days ago, at final round, that was the biggest catastrophe ever. It was the craziest. I forgot to put on my sombrero for Cinco de Mayo. I didn't even think I was going to do a podcast, so I fucked up and, you know, anyway, whatever. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Dude, final round was a fucking blow up, man. I mean, there were so many complaints, the list was like crazy. And my only complaint about Northwest Majors was that they had two random low-tier bearded guys doing commentary? Who cares? Whatever, that's nothing. That's nothing. Northwest Majors, 4 thumbs up. Okay? I give it a Goro. That shit was great. And I recommend that tournament. I recommend that tournament to anybody in the region because everyone there is really dedicated. I mean, it's a really nice part of the country to be in. And, I mean, the food's good. What the fuck else do you want? You know, it's dope. You can't lose. Anyway, what else? Oh, you know another thing I have to bring up? The whole Tekken thing was really nice to see. And it's because of Markman and his crew. Ace and Nate and all those, the whole gang. These guys worked their asses off setting up all these 14 pain-in-the-ass cabinets. You gotta see how these things work. They're these giant boxes. You can't fucking turn any of them on without a key like it's a fucking car. You know? It's like it's weird. But there's all these Tekken 7 cabinets they have to set up, tear down. They have to make sure they have all these arcade sticks. They have to set up everything, you know? And it just seems like a pain in the ass. And they do it every time. So, I don't know. It was pretty cool. There were so many Tekken 7 setups. Random people were like, hey, Aris, you want to play Tekken 7? And then I was like, yeah, alright, whatever. Sure. So we'd sit down and play. And that happened a few times. That never happens. Because it's always like, hey, Aris, we should play sometime when the line gets shorter. Or, hey, Aris, you want to play later? Or whatever. But it's never like an open station. And there were tons. There were tons of open stations. So, that part was awesome too. Man, my voice is getting all fucked up. You see what I mean? You guys always talk shit about that Indian guy and the Japanese guy down there. But they're super important. Because while they're saying shit, gives me a time to take a breather and lube up. You know? It's like Robin Quivers. You know? Nobody knows what the hell she's talking about. But she's so crucial. Anyway. Commentary for FR Casuals is interesting because that stream is kind of... It's a good idea. But that stream is not even really supposed to be there. It's just like a... For you because we're doing you a solid. That FR stream, while the other streams are going on, I think... I don't know. But I'll pass the word along. He said the FR casual stream, has to have commentary instead of just casuals. That's it could happen. It could happen. I'll pass the word along. What else? North-South majors, good shit. There's nothing else really that important going on with the games either. Oh, you know what I was talking about earlier where I talked to Julio and Brent is cool and BJ and all these other fucking little stoners outside, right? They are all super amped up where like, dude, I gotta win this. I gotta get sponsored. Dude, I gotta get sponsored. And then Julio, he just got sponsored by the Rick Fox, the famous pro wrestler. And, I mean, everyone's getting sponsored, right? So it's like you gotta, they could taste it. You can really hear it in their you can hear it in their tone, you know? They could taste it. They're almost there. They're already spending fucking 8 hours a day fucking playing Street Fighter V. They want to get paid. They want to get paid salary to play 8 hours a day Street Fighter V and go to school. Right? That's the dream, right? They want to live the dream and they can taste it. And that's good news. That shit never existed before. Even 4 years ago, nobody talked like that outside. Nobody talked like that. But I'm talking, there was a group of kids out there, 5, 10 people that all felt like they had to win this so they could get sponsored. And I'm thinking that is sweet. That is sweet. That is awesome. I loved it. I loved seeing that because, first of all, when I was a kid, those opportunities were not there. We ruined our lives the old-fashioned way. We fucking wasted our lives, didn't go to school. All we did was fucking play video games and ruin our whole futures. But now, you have the opportunity, if you're good enough at these fighting games, to fucking maybe don't ruin your future and still play as much fighting games as you want. You know what I mean? So, it's really nice. I've been around a while, and it's nice to see things have changed enough to where these guys can play fighting games the way they want to and not have to fuck up, you know, the way that you used to back then. You know? What else? MK, I mean, whatever, right? You know, I watch the ESL shit, though. It's cool. Every now and then I watch it. The Euro guys are good. Mustard. You know, ketchup, mustard. They're good. Bitch stink. Yeah, whatever. Windows 10 turned into a fucking nightmare, I heard. Tomorrow's Rip's 42nd birthday. I think I mentioned that. Oh yeah, there's Big Dinner in Little Taiwan t-shirts available now. They're already out. Just south of the border. Just run for the border, south, and you'll see. Check those out. What else? Oh, big thanks to Zug Mine for helping me out with that. That guy's a champ. He's the guy who made the design in the first place. But you know, Teespring used to have a 9-color limit, and they lifted it. So now the shirt is available as fuck. So cool. Lots of people bugged me about that for like 3 months. Like, all the time. I got bugged about that shit like crazy. So whatever. Northwest Majors was good. Street Fighter V, you know, though I've personally kind of, my interest in playing it has waned a little bit myself, it's only because Guile and Alex both look like fucking, I don't know. Guile and Alex, to me, they don't look good. The rest of the cast looks like polished, you know? It looks polished. The other two characters, Guile and Alex, they look machined. Like they're from some weird fighter maker or something. I don't know. There's something about the game that I don't like after these two DLCs. And it's not that I don't like it. It's that it's just made me turned off, you know? You also have to keep in mind that I'm really into Dark Souls 3 right now. I mean, let's face the facts. I'm really into Dark Souls 3 right now. And, you know, it's part of my job to play video games. So I'm going to definitely try my best to enjoy that. You know, and Dark Souls 3, I'm really enjoying it. You know, so once that honeymoon phase for that game kind of slows down, I'm going to pick up Street Fighter V again because, I mean, what the fuck else is there to play? Killer Bitch Stink? Come on, right? So, you know, we'll see how it goes. By that time, I think Boxer will be available, and maybe, who knows what else is going to happen. But, you know, the game's cool. The game's cool, and I like watching it, and I love that it's turning out to be such a solid product. No infinites, no bugs, no game-breaking bullshit, no fucking god-tier character that, like, single-handedly dominates the cast. I mean, if you look back in history, there have been tons of games that have been worse than Street Fighter V is. And it didn't even need one patch. Not even one patch. So, if you ask me, that's pretty good. We'll see, though. We'll see what happens in the future. I think the game's pretty special. I think it's the #1 primo game to play. And from the sound of the way these players like Julio and Brent is cool and all these guys, Chris, and, you know, these guys are really like, they can taste it. They're so close to getting sponsored, you know. And you get sponsored, you're living the dream. That's cool that the dream exists now. Pretty neat, you know. What else? The commentary thing, I mean, it goes back to the thing I said in the beginning. Those two bearded guys, they should have had Ultra David, man. What the hell are you doing? They should have had Ultra David or Seth Killian or some shit, right? And one of those bearded guys. It was like they had a mirrored image and there was just two of the same guy. I couldn't hear them because their voice was not projected over the Megatron or whatever it's called. But why didn't they have Ultra David? Ultra David was in French. Well, what about anyone else? Fucking anybody else. You know? James Chan. Or fucking anybody. A million other people. You know? Anyway, not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal. Okay, so you have to look at it like this. It's really nice that my biggest complaint is the Schmohawk commentators, right? Because if you look at Final Round, the complaint list was through the roof. That's definitely something to remember. But in the end, I still do think that one of those guys should have been someone that hits home runs. Because it would have made the other guy look better too, right? I mean, if you have, let's say in a perfect world, Ultra David is not in French, right? So Ultra David would have probably made that other guy look way better than two other guys, right? Two other guys, hard to sell. Ultra David and one other guy, that's good shit, right? That's good shit. So, anyway, whatever. Lessons learned. You know, I don't know. I don't think there's anything else I really wanted to talk about. I wasn't going to do a podcast today, but you know how it goes. I mean, these two guys quit. They're done. You know, I'm kidding. They just said Rixta had to work, and Ripaul, it's, you know, he's in Minnesota. Wizard Worlds this weekend, by the way. That's another Tekken event and tournament. Any tournaments coming up this weekend other than Wizard World? Super Arcade, I know. It's like ancient history. Okay, so the plan right now is my next tournament is Combo Breaker. That's the end of the month. So I'm planning on being at Combo Breaker. I'm looking forward to that. That's actually shaping up to be like a game changer. This tournament is trying to shake the earth, you know, so we'll see what happens. But Combo Breaker, I'll be there for that one. Also, looking further into the future, CEO is supposed to be one of the tournaments that I go to. But, you know, we'll see. I the way I see it is, until I have a flight itinerary in my hand, it's not for sure. You know, so that's the way I look at it. But that's the plan. Northwest Majors. Not much going on for Tekken, other than, you know, Tekken 7. I played a lot of Tekken 7 over the weekend, and then I played like 2 games of Tekken FR. Going from Tekken 7 Dragunov to Tekken 7 FR Dragunov feels way better. I mean, you can move around, you can sidestep, it feels faster, the movement feels less sluggish. So, I'm in. I'm happy about that. Movement changes so far. And Tekken 7 FR is turning out to be something really cool too. So, looking forward to that. Bitch calling, the only thing, I had such a pleasant weekend. Honestly, the only bitch calling I could possibly think of was that Jamaican chocolate starfish from earlier. Man, that was a huge waste of like 4 hours. That was whack. Anyway, I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. But if I am, who gives a shit? Thanks very much for watching. There are shirts available south of the border. Big dinner in Little Taiwan. Oh, and Rixta and Rip are both bitches too. Both of them are bitches. What the fuck are you talking about? I have to work, and it's my 42nd birthday. I'm in Milwaukee. Both of them are bitches. Whatever. Thanks for watching, Internet. I'll probably come back in a little bit and play some video games after I talk to Charles about what's for big dinner. Take it easy, everybody. Buy a shirt, will ya? See you guys. Oh, maybe I should do an outro. That would be cool. Hold on. Sick. See you guys later.